Do you want the truth or something beautiful? Just close your eyes and make believe. So those are some poetic words that I borrowed from Paloma Faith, and those words really speak to the soul. Because if we are honest with ourselves, if we look within our lives, if we become the observer of our lives, we will realise that there are parts of us that we are hiding from others, parts of us that we are denying to others, that we are denying to ourselves, parts of us that do not feel like they can be fully 100% honest in all interactions with others within our lives. And why is that? Is it because we are bad, because we are just liars and we want to lie to everyone that we love? Well, no, it is not. It's because of trauma and woundings, traumas from this life, from past lives, from the ancestral line that is passed on through the bloodline, from our lineage. And these wounds, these traumas that have been pressed down into our subconscious world are what keeps us feeling gagged, keeps us feeling that we cannot truly be ourselves, because we fear that if we are ourselves, we will be rejected, we will be abandoned, we will not be loved. And we have experienced this often as children. We may not be consciously aware of this, and like I say, in past lives where when we have been ourselves, we have been abandoned, rejected, love has been withheld from us, because we do exist in this false matrix where the organic matrix, God source consciousness matrix, has been inverted and has been infected with many different consciousness virus, anti-life viruses. It makes us feel that we are just not enough, that our natural selves is bad. You know, within religion it tells us that we are born in sin, that we are just sinful for taking up space on this planet, for just breathing, and that is not truth, that is a lie. But those parts of us, inside of us, we have that corruption within our body, that makes it difficult sometimes for us just to be honest with ourselves, to be honest with the interactions that we have with other people. So this is a little bit of a challenge that I'd like you to do. So in order for us to even know that we have those parts inside of us, we need to become the observer in our life. So I ask you today, for a week, to commit to yourself, or even for a day, even a day is illuminating when you do this exercise, to commit to yourself to be the observer in every interaction that you have with every friend, lover, colleague, stranger, anyone that you have interactions with today. Just be the observer and just observe whether in those interactions you are fully, truly 100% honest with how you answer. And you're going to find that in some of those situations there is a resistance within you to be 100% honest. So it's about becoming aware of that. So this exercise is not about then, it's not to see how many times you can be honest. That's not the point. The point is just to become aware that there's times when you're in resistance, that you feel almost gagged, that you cannot say the truth. And you're going to find that some of these things that you're observing really are insignificant, but there's just something inside of you that is in fear. And that what inside of you that is in fear is those wounded parts, those trauma, those parts that are full, that have got trauma within them. It's like the wounded inner children that have been abandoned, rejected, that have felt not enough, that they couldn't speak their truth, because when they did, it wasn't received with love. So that's the first stage. We need to become aware. Because if we're not aware that we have these wounds, these traumas, these corruptions within the body, then we cannot resolve them, we cannot heal them, and our lives are going to be directed by these subconscious traumas and wounds, and it's going to limit us. It's going to mean that we cannot become our highest expressions, we cannot move into our higher timeline. So we might think that our life is not limited, but as soon as you start to do this exercise and we bring awareness to those parts of us, well, that is step one. You know, it's like with anything, change cannot happen if we are in denial that there is something within us. So it's a really simple exercise. So make a commitment to yourself right now to do that, and just by bringing awareness to it. So like I said, don't judge yourself. That's really important, that you don't judge yourself when you find yourself in those moments that you do not speak your truth. You know, it's really been highlighted to me on this trip that I am in, this Copacabana baby in Brazil. I just have to put this on video more for myself. And I'm traveling with my friend, and there's moments that I'm traveling where I just can't quite express what I really want to express within, and I'm realizing that I've still got parts of me inside that are wounded. And I've been on this healing journey for a long time, and I've healed a lot within the body, and I continue to be committed and devoted to this journey to really finding those corruptions in the body and dissolving them. And like I say, the first step is awareness. We have to acknowledge we have them in our body. As soon as we start to acknowledge them, then we can start to heal them. So that's the first step. But then what I would ask you to do is, as you are observing this in your life, as you're observing the times where you just feel that you cannot express your truth because you have a fear, just have a reflection on that. Maybe later, you might not be able to do it in the moment, maybe later, have a reflection, ask yourself, what is it that you fear? Did you fear that you would be abandoned? Did you fear that you would be rejected? Was it that truth, you knew that truth would crumble the existence, the reality that you're in? Because many of our realities are built on those false selves, on the lies, on the parts of us that we've had to hide, even from ourselves, in order to fit in order to get love that we all need and desire. So we can start to reflect on that, and we can start to see that it's not truth. We can start to see it's the wounded inner child, and we can start to reparent that inner child. We can start to tell that, we can start to have compassion. So definitely don't judge ourselves. We have compassion for the self. We all have this inside of us. Every single person has these wounded, traumatic pieces of us. You cannot be in this reality without experiencing wounds and trauma. And like I say, we're also bringing it in from the lineage, from our ancestral line, from the bloodlines. So then what we can start to do is have compassion for that inner child, and we can start to tell that inner child that it's safe, that it can be itself, that you love it. It's up to you to become its parent, to re-parent it back into the self, so it's not stuck, abandoned, feeling rejected, feeling like it cannot speak its truth. And it is a process that we do every single day. So then we start to move into courage, and we can start to have courage as soon as we become aware that there are parts of us that we are keeping hidden, that we are not being honest with the self or with others. Then we can start to use courage to start being honest with others, and some interactions we will do this in, and then we can be we can have, we can be proud of the self when we do this, when we've used courage. And there's still going to be some interactions that we just don't do it, and then in those interactions we just have compassion, hold space for self, realize we're on this healing journey. And the more that we become aware, and the more that we do that, and the more that we use courage, well, we're going to start that courage. At first your heart might beat, it might feel really difficult to, but you're going to see that when you are honest with yourself, that actually gets met in a way that it's not going to be the way that you imagined in your mind. You're not going to be abandoned, you're not going to be rejected, because you're not abandoning the self. That feeling, those fears of being abandoned, those fears of being rejected, is your own self rejecting yourself, rejecting your truth. It's your own self abandoning those parts of you that you've thought in your mind are not good enough. So as soon as you start to express the truth, as soon as you start to use courage to do that, well, it's going to get easier and easier, and you're going to see that you start to heal those wounds. You start to de-layer those false beliefs about the self. So commit to do that today, and you're going to see how that really helps to expand your consciousness and start that healing journey.